NFL Combine is well underway at this point. This is kind of the tip of the iceberg for getting our foot and then the whole leg and then jumping right into the NFL offseason. And bit of a surprise here. In case you haven't heard, the Browns, I think they need a wide receiver. So we're going to look at some wide receivers to watch at the NFL Combine. All that getting started actually today as we record this. This is being Thursday. So if you're watching this later, you can go back and see how those guys did and kind of compare from what I said. So the outline for today's show, we'll look at some wide receiver measurements. We got those in this morning. And I know it's a bit funny. It's a bit goofy looking at hand sizes, but this is a billion-dollar industry. So they're going to look at every little thing and go down to the quarter inch. And I mean quarter inch. I'm going to rank my top 10 wide receivers in this draft class, and then finally, what to watch for at the Combine, because the Combine can be, not going to lie, a little dry, a little bland, not much seasoning on it, but it is important to watch because you kind of feel like a guru when the NFL draft rolls around. You go, oh, you didn't see that guy? Oh, he's really fast. It's a big sleeper in the later stages of the draft. Before I show you my top 10 wide receivers, who's your top wide receiver? I want to know what you have to say about this, so let me hear it down in the comment section below. Garrett Wilson's a popular pick, but you can go outside the box. You can go Treylon Burks or even a Chris Olave, actually, if you're a fellow Buckeye fan that likes Garrett Wilson. So let me know what your favorite wide receiver is down below. Let's take a peek at the measurements for the wide receivers. We've gotten some big ones, the big names in so far, so I won't read off all their measurements because that'd be a lot, and I'm not going to lie, maybe even a little boring, but you can see who's a little taller and who's a little leaner, and who's got some, I wouldn't say room to grow, but things to keep in mind. Garrett Wilson under 6 foot. That's not going to scare teams away, but that's worth monitoring. I think a surprise is Jameson Williams, over 6'1". So not only a speed guy, but he can climb up a ladder too. Drake London, we knew he was one of the bigger guys in this draft class, and that showed at 6'3" and 219 pounds as well. Let's move on to some other measurements here. Treylon Burks is the guy I'm going to keep a close eye on. He's 6'2", he's 225 pounds, but I can't wait to see how fast he runs. And I'll talk more about that later on in the show. Chris Olave, sneaky tall actually. You always kind of think Garrett Wilson's the bigger of the two, just the way he plays, I think. But Olave at 6 foot and 187 pounds. And then the opposite, Jahan Dotson, who's got such a great vertical, is actually the smallest of the bunch. Jahan Dotson at 5'10" and a half and 178 pounds. We got the measurements in. Now let's look at my top 10 wide receivers. I've moved around a little bit as the offseason has ramped up and we've gotten closer to the NFL draft, but I've stayed pretty consistent at the top. And my top guy, it remains Garrett Wilson. The nickname, The Natural, fits him well for everything he does. Such a wide skill set. Jameson Williams, coming off that ACL tear, poses a lot of question marks to GMs, but he was the best wide receiver in college football last year, and I think I don't want to say can't miss, but there's so much to like about him. Treylon Burks has been just shooting up draft boards because he's got the size, he's got the strength, and he's got, I think, the speed too. And you put it all together, kind of reminds you of kind of like a Mike Williams. That's been a comp I've seen tossed around him a lot. Drake London, he broke his ankle at the tail end of the season. He's not doing much at the Combine, but he's going to be there to answer some questions and meet with teams. So won't learn too much about him during the Combine, but still one of the top guys. Dotson has flown up my draft class, my draft chart. I got him at number 5. I just think about Allen Robinson and Chris Godwin. Great receivers in the NFL, didn't have much to work with in the collegiate ranks. Will that be true for Dotson? 6 through 10, I have Olave at number 6. I like Chris Olave a lot at the college ranks. I just am a little skeptical of how well his game will translate to the pros when maybe his speed won't be so breakaway against NFL corners like it is against college corners. Bell is a great scat back. You can just put him in a variety of packages. Skyy Moore, he does a lot of great things out of the slot, and that's the trend the NFL is going right now. Then I got Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert is a great deep threat guy, so a great name to keep an eye on for. And George Pickens, ultimate question mark in this wide receiver draft class. We'll look at him in a closer lens later on. With that all in mind, and the NFL Combine ramping up here, are you going to watch any of it? Be honest with me. If you will, Y for yes. If not, N for no. No harm if you're not going to watch it. That's what I'm here for. I'm going to tell you what to watch for, and I'll have you covered. So with that in mind, next up, we're going to look at what to watch for in the NFL Combine because it can be Like I said, dry at times, but it's important to have some key takeaways for that. So if you're not going to watch it, don't worry. I'll have you covered. So make sure you subscribe to the channel for nonstop Browns coverage. That way you can kind of kick your feet up, enjoy the weekend if you got plans. And I wouldn't say just skip the Combine altogether, but I'll have you covered if you're not going to put your eyeballs on it. Also, check us out on the Rumble platform. Follow us there at rumble.com/Browns Report, another video platform that's putting out great content, and we are putting all of our content there as well. So follow us there. If you follow us on YouTube and you want to show some extra love to the channel, you can follow us at rumble.com/Browns Report, another great video platform that's out there on the World Wide Web. So follow us, use that link. It's in the comments and the description of today's show. Here's what I'm watching for. I'm looking for Treylon Burks' speed. He's got the size at 6'2". He's 225 pounds. But how well does he move? Because a lot of times we see big guys, big fellas come in, and then they run 4.5s. And you're like, whoa, that's not going to create much separation against NFL DBs. Maybe it worked at Arkansas when you play against Vandy's DBs, but that's not going to fly in the NFL. And you look at the size, and it's updated, 6'2", 225. He was very good for Arkansas last year. We've got an Arkansas guy here at Chat Sports, and he'll tell you very often the only reason this offense was humming at times was because of Treylon Burks. Next thing I'm watching for at the Combine, Chris Olave's strength. Olave checks a ton of boxes for what you're looking for in a wide receiver. He's a great route runner. He's very polished. He's got phenomenal speed. He's got good hands. He can make tough catches. He can do all of that. What I want to know is, can he go above and beyond in the strength column? Because guess what? In the college ranks, maybe you throw it way more in the NFL than in the NFL, but you're going to rely on NFL receivers to be blocking wide receivers because 60% of the time, 40% of the time, you're running the football 45% of the time, and you need your wide receivers to hold up their weight when they're on the field half the time and they're not getting any targets. So that's what I'm looking for out of Olave. And the final thing I'm going to keep an eye on here, George Pickens. We don't know much about the guy. He has not played much football because almost a year ago, right around now, last March, so March 2021, April 2021, during spring practice for the Georgia Bulldogs, he tore his ACL, missed basically the entire season for the Bulldogs, coming in late down the stretch to help them win a national championship. But the former big recruit to the Bulldogs had a good rookie campaign, and then sophomore, junior year, only played in 12 total games. So there's a lot unknown about George Pickens. He's got a lot of the intangibles. He does a lot of things great when he's on the field. We just don't have much tape. And that's going to be a big investment for a team. To draft someone in round, I don't think he goes round 1, but 2, maybe he slips into round 3, who's only played one season basically in the last 2 years. So I'm going to keep an eye on Pickens. Maybe he can impress people when he finally gets a chance to get on the field at the Combine and at his pro day. I want to ask this question one more time because maybe your opinion has changed throughout the course of the video. Who is your top wide receiver? Maybe you went into this thinking it's hands down Garrett Wilson, or I love Jahan Dotson. He's such a great vertical threat. Maybe after looking at some of those measurements and looking at some things to keep an eye on for you, like, you know what? I'm fading this guy and I'm looking maybe more closer to this player. The way I look at the NFL Combine, it's like this. I think it's the first course of a big meal, all right? It's not going to be the best thing because we're going to hear a lot of NFL reporters kind of just spin in circles, looking for things to talk about, almost like it's a golf course, right? Like golf etiquette. Everyone's hushed for some reason in Indianapolis. I never knew why, but the NFL Combine does bring away a lot of positive drawbacks where you can actually, or positive takeaways, where you can learn more about the players. And yeah, I get it. Hand size is a tough thing to spin around and have a conversation about. But these are things GMs look for. Whether we like it or not, they want to know who's the biggest, who's the fastest, who's the strongest, because ultimately that translates well to the football field. You can't teach speed, you can't teach strength, but if you get those things, you can put the extra caveats on at the end and create a all-pro player. All right, that's going to do it for us here. We'll catch you guys later here on the Cleveland Browns Report.